of the show, but we do start off with this breaking news from the state of Florida, less than an hour to go. A group called West Flagler that was challenging the Seminole Tribe of Florida's ability to be the exclusive provider of sports betting and even operate in sports betting has been denied. So the United States Supreme Court rejects the bid to eliminate the Seminole Tribe, and that means that the Seminole Tribe of Florida is going to have exclusive statewide control over legal sports betting through the year 2051. Again, the Seminole Tribe, they roll on with the Hard Rock app, and they roll on through at least 2051, so there will be no more petitions, no more challenging. This is the final ruling from the Supreme Court. Also, some very big news coming out of this as well, that in the year 2026, so still a couple of years to go under this legislation, that iGaming will be legal also in Florida as well. So that is a new wrinkle to this ruling. And also we'll get into the possibility now, for the first time we're hearing, that other states potentially will have legalization through their tribal entities, like the state of California. So when Mike Mazzio comes on the show a little bit later, those of you who live in California, stay tuned, because you could have legal sports betting coming sooner than later. Meanwhile, over at the U.S. Open, congratulations is in order for Rory McIlroy, who once again failed. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry. Was that bad that I did that to Rory McIlroy? Yeah, probably so. Yeah, it was Bryson DeChambeau that ended up winning the championship. I don't know. Why do I like razzing Rory a little bit here? I don't know. Maybe because he chose not to speak to the media yesterday. I didn't like seeing that. So sorry, Rory. I'm giving you a shot at the beginning of the show. Bryson DeChambeau played so well at the PGA Championship, wins his second U.S. Open, and obviously was fantastic, and really played, I think, start to finish better than anybody in the tournament. As I mentioned earlier, one of the side stories to this, though, is shame on you, Rory McIlroy. After losing, really losing the U.S. Open, had a chance to win this, did not speak to the media, packed up his stuff, and left. So he's probably in line for a fine with the PGA Tour. Now, look, I've never been in the spot that Rory McIlroy has been, which is basically playing on a professional sports team, league, or even by myself and anywhere. So I can't imagine having that feeling of blowing another championship. But needless to say, you got to do your job at the end, and you got to just take the high road here, take some road here, as opposed to bailing on a lot of people who probably just wanted to hear what happened at the end. Either way, here's Bryson DeChambeau after winning another U.S. Open. Talked about that up and down on 18, which really was one of the keys to win, and of course the bunker shot that helped him as well. Also commented, by the way, on Rory McIlroy not winning.
I'm so happy I got that shot up and down on 18. Oh, man. I wanted to get this one done, especially at such a special place that means so much to me and SMU and my dad, what pain meant to him. 1000th USGA championship. I mean, just stack them on top. That bunker shot was the shot of my life. Rory's one of the best to ever play. And being able to fight against a great like that is pretty special. For him to miss that putt, I'd never wished it on anybody. It just happened to play out that way, and he'll win multiple more major championships. There's no doubt, and I think that fire in him is going to continue to grow. And I have nothing but respect for how he plays the game of golf, because, to be honest, when he was when he was climbing up the leaderboard and he was 2 ahead, I was like, uh-oh. But luckily, things went my way today.
A little bit different than the PGA Championship when Xander ended up holding on to the end. McIlroy ends up blowing it. DeChambeau takes home the U.S. Open. Tonight in the NBA, the Boston Celtics are 6.5-point favorites to take the Larry O'Brien Trophy this evening. They were clobbered by Dallas on Friday night, 122-84. And so naturally, there's an opportunity now for Dallas to jump back into the series, but that would have to happen tonight. That's just basically the deal. They got to win tonight. Of course, they're eliminated. Jason Kidd yesterday talked about some of the adjustments that they have been making, and certainly the Boston Celtics are a team that knows exactly what they're doing up and down on the court.
Yeah, I thought they were really good in Game 4. That helped us get to Game 5, but just, understand we can't have 3 on the ball. They're too good of being able to make that pass, and they're the best team at shooting the three. So there's some things that we can clean up and that we're going to have to be better here in Game 5 if we want to win. They're not a team that changes. They're a team that makes you change. And so they're going to probably look to see that they had some good looks from three that didn't go down, and also, being able to probably, get Tatum and Brown going early. Having those two attack, our defense early is probably something that could be an adjustment. But for them, it's, shooting the three, creating the three, and then capitalizing on your mistakes. And hopefully, for us, our mistakes were low in Game 4, and hopefully they're low in Game 5.
We'll see if Kristaps Porzingis plays for the Celtics. Of course, he has been out for a period of time with a dislocation of the posterior tibialis tendon in his left leg. Naturally, Game 5, now a much bigger scenario. We'll see if Porzingis ends up playing tonight in the NBA. All right, Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever defeated Angel Reese in the Chicago Sky. Feels like every game we're not talking about the actual basketball, but fouls and pushes and everything else going on in the game. Caitlin Clark, 23 points, 91-83 the final. Joel Embiid says he's ready to play in the Olympics. He made an appearance during the pregame show saying that he is healthy enough to play in the upcoming Summer Olympics. Meanwhile, healthy enough to play is not going to be the case for Mookie Betts. He fractured his hand. Not going to need surgery, but he will miss some time. Who knows how long? He got hit in the hand with a fastball from Dan Altavilla during the 7th inning of Sunday's game against the Kansas City Royals. They also placed their young pitcher Yamamoto on the injured list as well. 9 stolen bases for the Boston Red Sox. They win yesterday 9-3 over the New York Yankees. How about the Mets? They're hot again. They swept the Padres. They're on a 5-game winning streak, back in the playoff picture. They won 11-6 yesterday. And Ronel Blanco, who was pitching a no-hitter again yesterday, was taken out of the game after 7 innings. Second pitcher in franchise history to have 2 starts with at least 7 hitless innings, joining Framber Valdez, who did that last year. All right, college baseball heating up in Omaha. It's the College World Series. Number 1 team in the country, Tennessee. They beat North Carolina 6-1 there. More games to be played today. T. Higgins ended up signing that franchise tag. He'll make $21.8 million for the upcoming season. He requested a trade and hasn't reported for any of their OTAs thus far. Chiefs defensive tackle Isaiah Buggs has been arrested on second-degree violence and burglary charges, second time in less than a month. He was arrested in Alabama, booked on second-degree domestic violence charges, and had been accused of animal cruelty in late May. And also the UFL had their championship game yesterday, in case you missed it, the United Football League, and Birmingham won again. This is the 25-0 win over San Antonio, and they ended up winning the champion in 2022, 23, 24. So Birmingham clearly the class of these alternate football leagues.